there was a
Stuff.
right. there's a keep in mind the the no man's land stretched a long way, and so the truce kind of started on one side and then it kind of worked its way down, and they ended up so there was an area where they were like playing soccer, which is really kind of fun and interesting. They like I said, they exchanged gifts, they took pictures with each other.
Football, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, American soccer, right? Football. So I'm going to show some clips, and we're going to come back and do some more chatting about it. Okay, so here we go.
We were in the front line. We were about 300 yards from the Germans, and we had, I think, on Christmas Eve, we'd been singing carols and this, that, and the other, and the Germans had been doing the same, and we'd been shouting to each other, sometimes rude remarks, more often just joking remarks. Eventually, a German said, "Tomorrow you no shoot, we no shoot."
At the start of the war, many believed it would all be over by Christmas. However, by December that year, it was obvious that this was not the case, and thousands of families...
Okay, so we're going to come back to the rest of that. So the video kind of goes on. It's a 12-minute video. There's some movies that were made out of it. But one of the things I loved about that, and the reason why we wanted to bring it up in this one, is because you never know how much and how deep your traditions actually go. Notice how he said that they were singing carols, right? And how it came out that they were singing carols. I'm sure that there were most of those people, had grown up singing carols and not really realizing that the tradition of singing carols. Yeah, I mean, come on, we've got kids, and they're not always excited to participate in the things that are traditional to you, and yet, both sides fighting against each other. They started singing Christmas carols individually, and all of a sudden that was something that same tradition stopped the war, even for a day, right? That was the thing that kind of,
right.
You can imagine them saying, "Hey, you're off key. That's not how you sing it. These are the way that the Brits sing it," and like, I'm sure that's the way it was. But again, they were, both of them were fighting to keep their own traditions, right? So, excuse me. So there's another part which I think is good. Let me fast forward to the end of that. Is there something you wanted to add to that, sweetheart?
No, you're good.
All right, let's come back to that. And
We
we're
were
gonna go
in the front line.
We're gonna go a little bit further.
But news of the remarkable Christmas truce soon spread abroad. By the end of December, letters and photos arrived home, and newspapers began to publish accounts of the truce.
My father was delighted to have a letter giving such a description of events, and he sent them up to the Daily Telegraph. I got into a frightful rocket. That showed up that it must have been me who wrote it, and Mossy got hold of me, gave me an awful dressing down for daring to write to the press. But of course I didn't. My old man wrote to the press.
These photographs were taken on personal cameras that some soldiers had taken with them into the trenches. Photography in the trenches was discouraged for obvious reasons, but during the Christmas Truce of 1914, soldiers on both sides of the trenches could not resist the opportunity to document such a unique event.
At the beginning of January 1915, the newspapers suddenly start printing these letters, and to begin with, there was a certain amount of disbelief, but then over time, suddenly photographs started to appear as well. And by that time, the evidence was clear that this did happen. It wasn't a myth. And the media at the time absolutely loved it.